Hello, everyone. I'm Scott Blakeway. I'm a former and hope to be never again client of Solano County Probation. Not rich or a silver spoon, but I had a pretty decent upbringing in life with family members that fed in and helped me out before my mother's passing and after. I have family members that loved me throughout my life that still love me today. Throughout my childhood, I had my mother always at my games, always cheering and and all the support. And then one day in an instant, that was gone. From Friday night to Saturday morning, it was over. I never heard her voice again. She was never in the stands cheering for me. And come to find out, every child wants their parent to be proud of them. And now you come in and, you go into a mind frame, well, why am I doing this for? I'll never get the satisfaction of hearing my mother's voice or hearing, the voice of what you wanted to be proud. It was gone. So that stopped my motivation. I ended up getting involved in streets and drugs, not so much a gang, with the fast life. And you get this, as a young man, you get these imaginary pictures of what life is really, of what a great life would be, from the drug dealers driving the fancy cars and the whole thing. And little by little, you involve yourself until you're actually one of them. And then you don't know that's not what it's about until you find out that's not what it's about. My first stint with trouble were in the late 80s. I went to prison, total of just about 5 years. Finished that, got off parole in 1994. And never looked back from that until 20 some odd years later. Well, I always say to myself, I've had many difficult things along the way. I have many, between my mother getting murdered at the age of 15, to not ever having a father, many uncles that played the father figure, but not having an actual dad in my household or my life. Unfortunately, after what I would consider pretty good 20-year marriage until it wasn't at the end, I went through what I would be considered now to be depression, and pretty much started self-medicating with alcohol to begin with, and then later on drugs, which resurfaced from 25, 30 years earlier, in the 80s and 90s, which is a completely different animal than today, and ended up in a crowd that were basically breaking the law, and I ran right along with them. Well, like all addicts do, you have to do something to support your habit, and started committing small crimes, nothing major, which eventually grow into slightly larger crimes. You think, well, I just stole the neighbor's lawnmower. Big deal. Well, it's a big deal to the guy that busted his butt, and that's his only lawnmower to cut his grass. Now he has to go buy another one because you stole his lawnmower. There's people who've been through more difficult things than I have, and they didn't give up. They didn't go the way I went. So where I ended up and the circumstances were all conscious decisions I made, of which I was in control of. Probably my first thought was, here we go again. My experience on Solano County Probation, um, no matter what the statistics say, every person that's on parole or probation is an individual. And to an extent should be treated as such. My probation officer, Mr. Burton, stayed well within the guidelines, along with giving me as much help along the way as possible, within his power to do so. There was firmness when it needed to be. It just registered how much respect you had for me just as a person, not as a caseload member, not a client, whatever you want to call it, just as a man from the beginning and all the way through. You've always shown me respect. It's still baffling to me what him and a lot of people others seen at that moment that I didn't see in myself, that say, hey, give this guy a chance. I couldn't even identify myself. 2.5 month process of getting documentation after documentation after documentation. Those were one of the things where, okay, I'm ready now. I'm ready to do everything I'm supposed to be doing. But the world don't happen like that. Gee, look what you've been doing. Oh, you're ready now? And the rest of the world's supposed to change and start catering to your needs and your wants? It doesn't work like that. Patients are really big in recovering and being successful. We get, as both an offender and an addict and alcoholic, we get this weird perception that all of a sudden we want to change our lives. We're ready, that the rest of the world is going to change and just fall in place. It doesn't. The rest of the world is still the rest of the world, and you have to continue doing what you're responsible doing for yourself. When you're in that world, in that life, there's so much disrespect you receive from other people. And one of the moments that I distinctively remember, because neighbors were outside looking, and you wanted me to still have the respect as a man and not embarrass me, you had your partner bring the car around and park it in between the two cars so nobody would see me get handcuffed. And that registered really big with me. An hour later, when I was sitting in the county jail cell, I really thought about it. That man didn't have to do that. You treated me with a tremendous amount of respect just as a man. And that registered big time with me. When you're in the streets, there's so much and you're an addict, there's a tremendous amount of disrespect from everyone else around you, and maybe rightly so. Look at you. Look at how you're behaving. Do you actually deserve any respect? Well, as a person, yes. Something definitely I remember you telling me. You said, okay, I have to take you in. I have resources and I've got somewhere for you to go if you're ready to change. That's another part about somebody else who doesn't have to do it, cared more about me and let me know I've got a place that you can go and a roof over your head if you're ready to make the change in yourself. I think the clicking and the determining factor was the way you guys were bending over backwards, in a roundabout way, I'll put it, to what I got was a sense of care and look out for me. And then the light switch came on that these people could care so much more about you than you care about yourself. That didn't make sense. Like, I just said to myself, these people don't even know you, but they're going out of their way. I didn't believe in myself, and it was a big deal where all these people are putting all this effort into you. I think you owe them at least to do it, put the same amount of effort in also. I think where the light switch really came on is probably my competitive nature from baseball and sports kicked in, and I don't like to lose. the entire department of CPC, whether they were directly involved with my caseload or not. Whenever I had a question, whenever I needed help, whenever I needed guidance, every single person without hesitation helped me. And I don't even think I could find a moment that I went through there that I asked somebody for something that they didn't have time to do what they were capable of doing, helping me figure out how to get that done, to help me and make sure those things happen. From day one, Natalie implemented and pushed for programs. There were other counselors when John wasn't there that I just needed some feedback. Hey, I got this going on. What do you think I should do about it? And would give me feedback. When I needed paperwork or didn't know how to download something, every single time without hesitation, Percy jumped in, got on the computer, downloaded. They had a fiasco at my house. Even though I did everything right, I stuck to the script, I played by the rules, and the house manager acted up. Crystal Riley took me right away and said, we're going to get you a motel room. She made it happen to get me out of that situation. She made it possible that I did, not even for a moment, that I would be in the streets. Even those 4 days there could have been a situation that I would have never made it to the other one. Crystal made sure I was safe. All of them. Through the beginning, and I trusted the process, and then I started getting, even though maybe not as fast as a person wants it, but I was getting results. Part of their program was retraining and entering people back into a productive life. So through that process and their training program, they had a couple of them. I ended up taking a truck driving course in school that they paid. There was no bus to catch at 6 a.m. that would get me there at 5 a.m. that would get me there at 6. I walked and rode a bike 5 miles every day to get to class, to get my certificate and my actual Class A driver's license. We had a day in class, and John, our counselor, we were going through processes about where do you want to be, our 3-month plan, our 6-month plan, our 1-year goal, 3-year goal, 5-year goal. And as we started naming off things, one of the words that John spoke to us was, how bad you want it. You want this to happen, you want A, you want B, you want C, you want D. How bad do you really want it? If it took you to sleep outside the school just so you could be at class every day, that's how bad you want it. No excuses about there's not a bus running, how am I gonna get there, that's too far to walk. Start earlier. If it's an hour walk, guess what? You gotta start at 4:30 then to be there at 6. How bad do you want it? My counselor, John's response was, what's stopping you? The only thing stopping you is you. Is it gonna be easy? No. Are there gonna be many hurdles to jump? Yes. Are there gonna be frustrations? Are there gonna be distractions? Or there's gonna be a lot of things. But are any of those things stopping you? No. If you let them, they will. But how bad do you want it? And what, from all those things you name that you want to do and be, Scotty, what's stopping you? And I had no answer. What is stopping me? Actually, well, nothing. Is it going to happen tomorrow? No. But if that's what you want, how bad do you want it, and what's stopping you? Yes, and maybe that was part of the process of the feeling, the overall emotion I was getting after I went through the whole program. And 7 months later, I was still going down there, twice a week when I didn't have to. I was off probation. I graduated the program and everything else, but that was probably part of the emotional part of the support. I don't want to use the words that they say coming around here, but they stress the fact that, like, Scotty, you graduated already. You don't have to keep coming. Almost every single class, whether it was a sentence or a motto or just something that went on in that class that kept adding to my plate. It kept adding and adding and adding. And to be honest, that almost became my addiction. It's like, okay, give me more. What else you got to say? What else you got to say? Give me some more. I was just trying to pile on my plate and eat all the knowledge and the words that everyone was giving me. So what ended up happening was I started out with Coca-Cola. Great job and everything else. Stress-free, but it is physical. I suffered the baseball injury and I could no longer do that job. So I applied for City and County of San Francisco, where I'm at now, driving the, they call it SFMTA now. Everybody old school knows it as Muni. This is, again, part of the counseling and the things that they instilled in me, in my mind. You're going to have disappointments, you're going to have setbacks, and sometimes things or options will disappear. Does that mean that's the only road that you can travel? No. Okay, Coca-Cola was over. Now what do? You keep pushing forward, and I thought of different options. Okay, I'm not physically able to do what I used to do, but I still have a piece of paper that says I know how to do something. I applied for San Francisco SFMTA, became a bus driver down there, and that's where I've been. The job is not next door, it's not in your backyard. It's not across the street. But if that's what you want, how bad do you want it? So every day I ride a scooter down to the ferry, I ride the ferry to San Francisco, I do my 8, 9, 10-hour job there, and I ride the bus back. Things change in the world, and if you're not willing to adapt and change, still with the mindset and the mission to get where you need to be going or where you're trying to go. Part of, again, the mentality that CPCs instills in you is how bad do you want it? What are you willing to go through? The not giving up frame of mind on your goal or yourself. And things are going to change. By far. In my mind, I've never had a bad day. I've had many difficult days. I've never had a bad day in my life because I can't justify God waking me up, putting air in my lungs, opening my eyes so I could see, 10 fingers, 10 toes, 2 hands, 2 feet, everything that works. I have had everything I need. I already won. That's a good day. You have the opportunity to do something and become successful and to be progressive and to help others and make progress just in life. I still have issues. I don't even want to call them problems. They're called Cadillac problems. By that, I mean, I don't have to worry about where I'm sleeping, what I'm gonna eat, if I can put gas in my car. My problems are, it's time for an oil change. Is that a problem? No. And like I said, I could proudly say today, when I look in the mirror every morning, I like who I see. There's a domino effect of look good, feel good, do good. I would say, and it's a lot easier said than done, stop now. Throw your pride out the window. Do not be, all I had to do was go home. But I was too embarrassed about who I had become on the street and the way I looked and the way I was dressed and the way I smelled. I was too embarrassed. I had the family and support. I was too embarrassed. What is that? That's your pride. Throw it out the window. Take pride in the positive things you're doing, but do not, when things don't go your way, don't be so prideful that you don't want to accept help. For a 50-year-old, taking help from a man that's younger than him, that has his life more together than you, but you want to act like you got this. It doesn't matter who or how the help comes from. Be willing to accept it. One of the biggest things that every single person has to do, be honest with yourself. We've all done something that messed up. Just be honest with yourself. You know what? I screwed that up. How do I fix it? How do I make it better? How do I make me better? Believe in yourself. Throw the pride away. Accept the help you've been given. Respect everybody. You are somebody. You can't ever forget where you came from. I don't want to name names for fear I'm forgetting someone, because everybody played a part. In short, I would like to say thank you to the probation department, specifically Mr. Burton, for his help, his understanding, and the respect I got from you throughout the whole process. It was difficult at times, to say the least, but I would say to Solano County Probation, I don't know what the training process is for you to become an officer, but evidently they instilled in you what it took to help me. And I appreciate and thank everyone for it.